Have you ever wondered who was the most feared general in the entire Macedonian Empire? The one whose name instilled so much respect that even the most powerful armies of the time were afraid to face him. Today, we're going to talk about Antigonus the One-Eyed, one of the most strategic and ambitious generals of Alexander the Great, whose legacy lives on through his military prowess and relentless struggle for power. If you love stories about great warriors and their epic battles, stay with us and join us on this journey through the history of Antigonus the One-Eyed, the man who defied the gods of war to achieve glory. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our stories about the greatest generals and battles in history. And remember, your like and comment motivate us to keep bringing more incredible content to you. Now, let's get started! Antigonus's early steps in military history. Antigonus the One-Eyed was born into a noble Macedonian family. His father, Philip, was a man of prestige who served in the Macedonian army. From a young age, Antigonus was educated under the principles of military discipline that would shape his entire life. However, the history of his life is not entirely clear, as ancient sources do not detail his childhood or early training with precision. What we do know is that Antigonus quickly stood out on the battlefield, where he began to make a name for himself as a young promise within the Macedonian army. From his early days serving under Philip II, the father of Alexander the Great, Antigonus proved to be a brilliant strategist. Philip II, known for unifying Macedonia and his tactical innovations, used Antigonus as one of his main commanders. During Philip's campaigns, Antigonus participated in several key battles, such as the Battle of Chaeronea, 338 BCE, where the Macedonian forces defeated a coalition of Greek forces. In this battle, the Macedonian army showcased its tactical superiority, and Antigonus stood out as a formidable leader. The rise of Alexander the Great and Antigonus's role in his army. When Alexander the Great ascended to the throne in 336 BCE, following his father's assassination, Antigonus not only continued to serve under his new king, but also became one of his closest and most trusted generals. Alexander, determined to continue his father's conquests, fully trusted Antigonus's experience and strategic skill. Together, they participated in a series of battles that expanded the Macedonian Empire's boundaries. During the campaign in Asia Minor, Antigonus played a crucial role in the Macedonian victories over the Persian forces, which, although numerically superior, could not withstand the military tactics of the Macedonian legions. At the Battle of Granicus, 334 BCE, where the Persian forces were decisively defeated, Antigonus demonstrated complete control of the battlefield, leading his troops through complex maneuvers that disoriented the enemy and ensured a victory for Alexander. Antigonus continued to prove his worth during the Battle of Ipsus, 333 BCE, where the Persian forces of Darius III once again faced Alexander and his generals. In this battle, Antigonus flanked the Persian forces, using the terrain and his tactical ability to dismantle the Persian king's army. The victories of Alexander and his generals, with Antigonus at the heart of many of them, expanded the Macedonian Empire from Greece to Egypt and Persia. The fragmentation of the empire. After Alexander's death. After the death of Alexander the Great in 323 BCE, the Macedonian Empire began to crumble. Instead of uniting the empire under a single successor, Alexander's generals, known as the Diadochi, began fighting amongst themselves for control of the vast lands that Alexander had conquered. Antigonus, with his political and military expertise, saw an opportunity to consolidate power amid the chaos and instability. Antigonus was a bold leader, and his experience in war and loyalty to Alexander made him one of the main contenders for control of the empire. Although he was not the youngest of the Diadochi, his cunning in battle and determination put him in a privileged position. Over the years, Antigonus continued to expand his influence, taking control of key regions such as Phrygia in Asia Minor, which became the base of his power. The rise of Antigonus and the proclamation of King of Asia. In 306 BCE, Antigonus took a bold step by proclaiming himself King of Asia. This act was not only a direct challenge to the other diadochi, but it also represented his desire to continue the legacy of Alexander the Great and rule over the vast lands he had conquered. By proclaiming himself king, Antigonus established his own dynasty, challenging his rivals and claiming for himself an unprecedented position of authority. This act of ambition ignited an open war between Antigonus and the other generals of Alexander, who saw him as a threat to their own interests. Seleucus, Ptolemy, Lysimachus, and Cassander formed a coalition to confront Antigonus in the Second War of the Diadochi, which would become a series of bloody battles for control of the Macedonian Empire. The Battle of Ipsus and Antigonus's decline. The Battle of Ipsus, 301 BCE, marked the end of Antigonus's ambitions. Facing a coalition of his most powerful enemies, Antigonus's forces were outnumbered, and despite his bravery and experience, could not withstand the pressure from the allied forces. The war elephants used by Seleucus were one of the keys to Antigonus's defeat, as his army could not cope with these imposing creatures on the battlefield. Antigonus died in this battle, mortally struck by an enemy projectile. With his death, the dream of restoring the Macedonian Empire under his rule ended, but his legacy endured through his son, Demetrius Poliorcetes, who continued to fight for the Antigonid dynasty. The legacy of Antigonus the One-Eyed. Despite his defeat and death, the legacy of Antigonus the One-Eyed remains relevant in military history. He was a man who, through his leadership, changed the course of wars and left an indelible mark on the history of ancient civilizations. His ability to adapt to new tactics, his bravery, and his determination to consolidate the Macedonian Empire made him one of the greatest generals of his time. Antigonus, with his death, left a power vacuum that was filled by his rivals, but his influence persisted in the fight for control of the Hellenistic world. The campaigns of his son Demetrius Poliorcetes are a testament to how Antigonus's legacy remained a force to be reckoned with in the years following his death. Antigonus the One-Eyed was a key historical figure who defied the odds and fought tirelessly for control of a fragmented empire. His life and achievements remain a testament to his military prowess, ambition, and loyalty to an empire that was crumbling. Throughout his career, Antigonus showed himself to be not only a great strategist, but also a man of great political vision, capable of maintaining his power and leadership in times of chaos. What do you think of Antigonus's figure? Do you think he could have reunited the Macedonian Empire? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you like this content about the life of Antigonus the One-Eyed, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos about the great generals of history. See you in the next video. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe to the channel and share the video with your friends. Your support is very important to us and motivates us to keep creating more fascinating content about military history.